The moment Marcus Riley realized his entire life was a lie wasn't dramatic. No crashing thunder, no slow-motion reveal with swelling music. It was quiet, almost polite. He was alone in his glass-walled penthouse office at 2:17 a.m., the Manhattan skyline glittering like broken promises 39 floors below. The merger documents glowed on his triple monitors, green numbers stacking into another 8-figure win. He reached for the drawer where he kept the good cigars, the ones he and Derek always cracked open after closing a deal. Instead, his fingers closed around Lauren's old phone. The backup she swore was just for fitness apps and playlists. It buzzed once. Soft. Innocent. The screen woke to a single unread message from D. Voss. Last night still has me hard. Can't stop thinking about how you screamed my name while he was downstairs signing the papers. Your place tomorrow? Or should we christen the Hamptons pool house again? Marcus didn't drop the phone. He didn't scream. He didn't even breathe for 8 full seconds. He scrolled. Photos, videos, timestamps, months of them. Derek's loft, their marital bed, the conference room table where Marcus had built an empire. Laughing emojis about how Mark's nose is always buried in spreadsheets. He won't notice if we fuck on his desk. The final message, sent 47 minutes earlier while Marcus was still shaking hands with investors downstairs. He's signing the last page now. Tonight we celebrate. Tomorrow we take the rest. Love you, baby. Marcus stared at the words until they blurred. Then he did the only thing a man raised on betrayal and Wall Street survival knows how to do. He forwarded every single file to an encrypted drive he kept air-gapped in a safe no one, not even Derek, knew existed. He poured 3 fingers of the 25-year Macallan they'd toasted with just hours earlier. He raised the glass to his reflection in the dark window and whispered the only promise that mattered anymore. You took my wife, you took my best friend, you took my company, you took my name and turned it into a punchline. He smiled. Small, cold, surgical. But you forgot one thing. He set the glass down without drinking. I built this empire from nothing once. He cracked his knuckles. I'll burn it to the ground and build it again from your ashes. The city lights kept shining indifferent. Marcus Riley, the man everyone thought was finished, had just started counting down. 4 years in Otisville taught him patience. 4 years of watching his daughter grow up through smuggled photos taught him precision. And tonight the real game began. They had no idea what was coming, but they would. Very, very soon. Marcus Riley adjusted the cuffs of his Tom Ford suit, the fabric whispering against his wrists like a lover's secret. 40 floors above the chaotic streets of Manhattan, his penthouse office at Riley Capital overlooked the financial district where dreams were made and souls were sold. At 36, he was king of this concrete jungle. The hedge fund he'd clawed from a Brooklyn walk-up to this glass tower was pulling in 8 figures annually. Life was good. Damn good. Mark, you gotta see these numbers. Derek Voss burst in without knocking as always. His best friend since freshman year at NYU, Derek was the yin to Mark's yang. Broad-shouldered where Mark was lean, loud laugh where Mark calculated every word. They were brothers in everything but blood. Derek had been there when Mark's old man drank himself to death, and Mark had covered Derek's ass more times than he could count during their wild 20s. Derek slapped a tablet on the mahogany desk. The Meridian merger? It's gonna print money. Billions, man. We're talking private jet upgrades. Mark grinned, clapping his friend on the shoulder. We built this together, D. From ramen noodles in that shithole dorm to this. He poured 2 fingers of Macallan into crystal glasses, the good stuff, aged 25 years, just like their friendship. To loyalty, Derek echoed, eyes gleaming under the recessed lighting. They clinked glasses. Later that evening, the city lights blurred past the limo windows as they headed to the celebratory dinner at Le Bernardin. Lauren waited at the table, stunning in a red Versace dress that hugged curves Mark knew every inch of. His wife of 8 years, the former runway model who'd chosen him over Wall Street playboys. Her blonde hair caught the candlelight as she smiled, but something in her eyes seemed distant lately. Stress from the social circuit, he told himself. You two look like you own the world, she said, kissing Mark deeply before giving Derek a quick hug. Too quick? Mark pushed the thought away. Dinner was laughter and deals whispered over seared scallops. Derek regaled them with stories from their college days, the time they hustled a poker game to pay rent. "This guy's got ice in his veins," Derek said, pointing at Mark. "But heart of gold. Couldn't do it without him." Mark felt that warm glow of brotherhood. After his mother's passing last year, Derek was the only family that mattered besides Lauren. They closed the night with cigars on the rooftop bar, toasting the future. But futures have a way of shattering. The next morning, Mark woke to an empty bed. Lauren had left a note, "Early yoga, back by lunch, love you." He smiled, showered in the marble bathroom that cost more than most people's homes, and headed to the office early. The merger documents needed his final sign-off. In his desk drawer, searching for a pen, his fingers brushed Lauren's spare phone. The old iPhone she used for gym apps or whatever. It buzzed. Curiosity, or maybe that nagging gut from years of reading people in boardrooms, made him pick it up. The screen lit up with a text from D. Voss. "Last night was fire, baby. Can't wait to do it again when he's in Chicago next week." "Your place or the Hamptons house?" Mark's blood turned to ice. He scrolled up. Dozens of messages, photos, explicit, dates going back months. Derek's loft in Tribeca, their own vacation home. Laughing emojis about how Mark's too busy chasing millions to notice. His best friend, his wife, the two people he trusted most. He didn't smash the phone. That wasn't his style. Instead, he forwarded everything to his secure cloud, heart pounding like a war drum. Then he sat, staring at the city that had given him everything. "Betrayal," he whispered to the empty office. "You're going to pay for this." But he had no idea the knife was deeper. Much deeper. Mark spent the day in a fog of calculated calm. He canceled meetings, claiming a migraine, and reviewed every transaction from the last 6 months. Something didn't add up. Offshore accounts he'd never authorized. Trades timed perfectly to the Meridian merger leaks. Leaks only he and Derek should have known about. Insider trading. The kind that sent guys to federal prison for decades. By 7 p.m., the office party was in full swing on the 39th floor terrace. Champagne flowed. CNBC played on every screen. Investors slapped backs and talked yachts. Derek was the life of it. Arm around Lauren, whispering something that made her laugh too loud. Mark watched from the shadows near the bar, nursing a club soda. His phone vibrated. SEC notification? No. A Bloomberg alert. Riley Capital under investigation for securities fraud. The music cut. Blue lights flashed from the street below. FBI agents poured in, badges out, guns holstered but ready. Marcus Riley? The lead agent, a no-nonsense woman in a navy suit, flashed her credentials. "You're under arrest for insider trading, wire fraud, and embezzlement. Turn around." Handcuffs clicked cold against his wrists. The room gasped. Phones came out. Someone recorded. Derek stepped forward, face etched with fake concern. "Mark, what the hell? We'll get you the best lawyer. This has to be a mistake." Lauren's eyes met his for 1 second. Cold, calculating, before she buried her face in Derek's shoulder. "Oh, God, baby, how could this happen?" Mark locked eyes with Derek as they led him away. "I know everything," he mouthed. Derek's smirk was tiny, gone in a blink. But Mark saw it. The ride to the federal building was silent except for the crackle of the radio. They read him his rights. He said nothing. In the holding cell, he stared at the cinder block wall and made a promise to himself. They wanted his empire, they'd get the ashes. The trial was a circus. CNN called it Wall Street's biggest backstab. Derek testified first, voice cracking with betrayal. "I trusted him like a brother. I had no idea he was skimming millions into Cayman accounts." Lauren took the stand in a modest black dress, tears perfect. "He changed. The pressure? I tried to help, but he shut me out. The forged emails, the doctored ledgers, the offshore transfers, all pointed at Mark." His own lawyer looked defeated. The jury deliberated 4 hours. Guilty on all counts, sentencing day. Judge Harlan, ironic last name, gave him 7 years in federal prison. "White-collar crime is still crime, Mr. Riley. You betrayed the trust of investors and your own family." Mark stood straight in his orange jumpsuit. No tears. As marshals let him out, he caught Derek and Lauren in the gallery, hands linked under the bench. Lily wasn't there. Thank God. His 8-year-old daughter thought Daddy was a thief now. That hurt worse than the cuffs. FCI Otisville wasn't Shawshank, but it was close enough to hell. Minimum security camp in the Hudson Valley, surrounded by razor wire and rolling hills that mocked freedom. 5 a.m. head counts, chow hall slop that tasted like regret. Inmates in khakis shuffling to jobs in the laundry or library. Mark got the library gig. Quiet. Perfect for thinking. The first month he barely slept. Nightmares of Derek's smirk, Lauren's laugh, letters from his lawyer, assets frozen, divorce filed, custody to Lauren. Riley Capital rebranded Voss Capital overnight. Stock soared. Then he met Victor the Ghost Kane. Victor was 62, former Wall Street fixer who'd taken the fall for a Ponzi scheme bigger than Madoff's. Gray hair, steel eyes, body like a coiled spring from prison yard workouts. They bonded over Bloomberg Terminal's Victor smuggled in his head. "Kid, the system eats its own," Victor said one night in the rec yard, passing a hand-rolled cigarette that smelled like burnt dreams. "You want revenge? Don't swing fists. Swing ledgers. I got contacts outside. Dark web. Offshore ghosts. You learn patience here, you walk out a ghost yourself." Mark listened. Every night for 3 years he studied hacking basics on contraband tablets, psychology of manipulation, financial forensics. He bulked up in the yard, running laps until his lungs burned like the Betrayal still did. He wrote letters to Lily through a cutout address, coded messages only a father would understand. "Daddy's coming home. The monsters under the bed are real, but so am I." Parole came early. Technicality on chain of custody for one piece of evidence. Victor's outside guy had pulled strings. 4 years served. Mark walked out the gate in a cheap suit, $200 gate money, and a fire in his gut that no prison chow could extinguish. Chapter 5. The Ghost Returns. Brooklyn apartment, above a bodega. Smelled like onions and regret. Mark shaved his head, grew a beard, got fake IDs from Victor's network. Offshore accounts he'd hidden pre-arrest. $2.3 million were still there, untouched. Enough to start. He hired a private investigator named Carla Ruiz, XYPD, sharp as a razor. Find every dirty deal Voss Capital has touched in 4 years. He told her over black coffee at a diner off Flatbush. And dig on Lauren. Every affair, every lie. Carla delivered in weeks. Voss Capital was leveraged to the hilt. Ponzi-adjacent loans, hidden losses from bad bets on crypto. Derek had expanded aggressively, buying up distressed properties with investor money that was really just robbing Peter to pay Paul. Lauren? She'd been Derek's mistress for 2 years before Mark caught them. Blackmail photos of her old modeling days, coke and worse. Kept her compliant at first. Now she was addicted to the lifestyle. But cracks showed. Therapy bills, a secret wine habit. Mark started small. Anonymous tips to Bloomberg. Voss stock dipped 8%. Then a deep-fake video of Derek yelling at investors leaked on X. Panic selling. Short positions Mark took through shell companies in the Caymans printed money. He watched from a rented SUV outside their Hamptons mansion. His old mansion, Derek and Lauren arguing on the deck. Lily, now 12, playing alone by the pool. Mark's heart twisted. He sent her a burner phone and a care package disguised as from a school friend. First text, "It's Dad. I never stopped fighting for you." Psychological warfare was sweeter than any punch. Mark leaked Derek's mistress list to Lauren's social circle via fake Instagram accounts. Lauren confronted him at a charity gala. Mark watched via drone feed from Carla. Voices carried on the wind. "You swore it was only me." Derek gaslit her perfectly. But the seed was planted. Next, Mark drained a hidden Voss escrow account, $1.4 million, rerouted to a charity for betrayed families. IRS flagged it as suspicious. Audit started. Derek's lawyer scrambled. Lily texted back, "Dad? They said you were bad." Mark replied, "They lied, baby. Proof coming. Stay strong." He met Victor at a Queens diner. "Time to bleed them dry," the old man said, sliding a USB drive. "This has the real books. Every bribe, every kickback. One press of send, and the SEC gets the full picture, plus the murder cover-up. Murder. A whistleblower analyst who discovered the fraud 4 years ago. Derek had him overdosed in a motel. Evidence on the drive. Mark smiled for the first time in years. Cold. Real. Voss Capital stock cratered 42% in a week. Investors sued. CNBC ran the fall of the new Wall Street king. Derek's face was everywhere, sweaty in interviews, denying everything. Lauren called Mark's old number, now routed to a burner. Voicemail after voicemail. Marcus, please. I made a mistake. He forced me at first. The photos. I was scared. Lily needs her father. Come back. We can fix this. Mark listened to every one, then deleted them. No mercy. He orchestrated the final wedge. Anonymous texts to Derek from a friend. Your wife's been skimming company accounts for her escape fund. Check the Caymans. To Lauren, Derek's planning to frame you for the murder. Run. They turned on each other like rabid dogs. Fights caught on security cams Mark had hacked. Carla fed the footage to tabloids. The climax came at the old Riley Capitol building, now Voss Tower. Mark, clean-shaven and wearing his old Tom Ford-like armor, walked in past security who didn't recognize him. Victor's guy had looped the cameras. Derek's office. Lauren was there, suitcase half-packed, screaming, "You killed that man!" I saw the texts. Derek backhanded her. Shut up, you greedy bitch. It was your idea to frame him in the first place. Mark stepped out of the shadows, gun in hand, not loaded, just for show. Hello, family. Derek froze. Lauren's mascara ran black rivers. Mark, sit, he ordered. They did. He played the USB on the big screen. Every transaction, every bribe, the murder. FBI's getting this in 30 minutes. But first, you two are going to sign everything over. Company, houses, accounts, to Lily's trust. I walk away clean. You rot. Mark dropped him with one prison yard punch. Clean jaw shot. Lauren begged, tears real this time. I loved you once. Please. You loved the money, Mark said. Same as him. Papers signed. Lily's future secured. The FBI raided at dawn. Derek and Lauren in cuffs on live TV. Murder charges, fraud. The works. Voss Capital collapsed. Mark's name was cleared in a quiet DOJ statement. Technical reversal on appeal. He picked Lily up from school himself. She ran into his arms. Daddy? Yeah, baby. Daddy's home. They walked the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset. Hot dogs from a cart. Yankees cap on her head. The city hummed around them, sirens, horns. Life, Victor called from a burner. You did it clean, kid. Ghost approved. Mark hung up. Revenge tasted sweet. But the scars remained. He started a new fund, ethical investing, helping startups that got screwed. Lauren got 10 years. Derek. Life. Some nights Mark still woke up in cold sweat, but Lily's laugh in the next room reminded him, loyalty wasn't dead. It just had to be earned back. And in New York, the city that never sleeps, Marcus Riley finally slept like a king again. Epilogue. 6 months later, Mark stood on the same terrace where it all began. New sign. Riley Legacy Capital. Lily at his side, taller now. Think Uncle Derek's sorry? She asked. Mark ruffled her hair. Doesn't matter, we're the ones still standing. Below, the financial district pulsed with new dreams and old betrayals. Mark raised a glass of Macallan to the skyline. To loyalty, the kind you fight for.